Hello, hello. Let me get
Hello.
the. The purpose of today's video is to interview one of my good friends who is, in my opinion, the pinnacle of creation in the dark fantasy genre in both writing and tabletop RPG storytelling.
Too kind, really. Too kind.
Let me just get the interview questions up here. Okay. Well, first of all, ooh. You ready for the questions, Mr. Howens?
I believe so. I hope I'm ready.
How did you get into writing dark fantasy?
Well, I just always loved fantasy in general, and then I learned of Berserk and Dragon's Dogma and whatnot, and yeah, I just love the brutality and seriousness everything holds.
I see. Oh, I understand that you're kind of a history buff. What specifically uh, drew you? Do you draw inspiration from any particular point of history in dark fantasy?
I'm not gonna lie, man. Knights in shining armor, battling out in mud, dirt, blood, and grime. It's yeah, medieval. Good old medieval history is just beautiful to me. At least the romanticized version of it, at least.
I see. Is there a particular story that has influenced your writing as far as that goes?
I would say it's a lot of stories, really.
Any
Whether,
particular favorites?
hmm, hmm. Are we talking actual historical stories or traditional stories, or stuff that's more modern day dark fantasy?
We can do either or. You can feel free to do so. Oh,
All right. Well, King Arthur and his knights' quest for the Holy Grail and their trials and tribulations are a good little historical fantasy thing, and for me to really enjoy watching, listening to, or reading every now and then, as well as modern day. It's playing Dragon's Dogma, or reading Berserk, or Vinland Saga. It's really just what people take with the technology and values of the time, and seeing how they can make a story from it.
right. So that goes without saying. When you're writing for either a tabletop RPG or you are writing for just for to make a story, how do you go about crafting morally ambiguous situations in those stories?
Well, honestly, I just I just write. I just start writing, and if there is something I see I can make there, I would start fleshing it out more. I suppose you could say I get the ingredients in the pot, then I figure out how to mix them later.
Oh, I see. I see. So you kind of basically try to write as much as you can and see and can so, uh, try to. I'm trying to find the words. Try to see what sticks the best.
Yeah, and usually what sticks the best is when I start writing, and then I find myself just keep writing on a consistent path where I think something would lead. Then I go, well, might as well keep writing, finish it out, and then go through and rewrite things to make it flow better or seem better.
Right. Uh, in the context of TTRPGs, how do you balance? I'm reading here. The freedom of player agency will maintain a compelling narrative.
Hmm. Well, I'd say the most important part to me in that whole process is you can have all the limitations and restrictions on the players, but you also have to be while also balancing what they can do in that setting. Because the more you restrict someone, the more you should expect them to be creative in those restrictions. Like don't expect them to follow a set path, but instead, if you put the restrictions on them at face value, they'll you gotta also have to allow them to be creative within. So it's more of a leap of faith with hey guys, no druids, please. And then they go, all right, we can plan around all that. Yeah, it's just being upfront with the restrictions of the setting I make, and then letting them be as creative as they want with those restrictions.
Absolutely. So you try to balance player agency with the narrative by setting some stipulations, but they have as much freedom as they can, as they have with what's the word for it, within those constraints.
Yeah. After all, if I say no cats in a setting, they'd be like, all right, we'll just get some dog. We'll get some dogs and train them to do what cats would have done.
Right.
It's a
What role does the does horror, magic, and the supernatural play in your setting?
I'm gonna be real with you, Chief. I am a huge fan of Lovecraft, as you know, and I also just love magic in all its glory. So there's gonna be a lot of magic and horror. My favorite type of horror being Lovecraftian in nature. Will I be so overt with it all the time? No, probably not. But there would definitely be elements of either in it.
Right. What specifically about Lovecraft's work do you enjoy, even though we don't talk about Lovecraft as a person?
Well, what I love most about Lovecraft horror is the personal tribulations, the realizations that an individual realize, and how they react to it, how they respond to it, how do they terrify themselves based on a knowledge and or thing they discover.
Hmm.
It is like taking my personal hobby of just seeing how people react to stuff to a next level kind of deal.
Yeah. So when you're writing dark fantasy, how do you navigate and balance the line for gratuitous atmosphere?
Well, it's one thing to start off with some brutality and violence to set the tone at first. And then it's pretty much like sort of a you referred to a bit of Machiavellian literature with terror only being used once, but I kind of flavor that as you use it when it's most effective, not all the time. If you feel if it would impact the emotional core better, that's the perfect time to use it. But if it's just gonna be out of nowhere, just meaningless, then it loses its value. And then that's when it becomes gratuitous rather than brutality.
Right. So more when it impacts the characters emotionally than just shock value. Got it.
Yeah, because if people care about the characters and then the characters are reacting very emotionally to it, the reader's gonna react emotionally to it when you use it in a very meaningful way.
Right. So when you write or design things for tabletop RPGs, what aspects of world building do you find the most enjoyable?
having it all come together. Because you can have cool idea A, cool idea B, but if they don't go well in World C, it's gonna feel a bit forced. But if one A, B, C makes a beautiful world of D, it's almost euphoric. I'm not gonna lie. It's I get so excited when I be like, this makes so much sense. I'm glad I did this way coincidentally.
So, when you're playing GMing in a tabletop RPG, how do you? I jumped ahead. My bad.
Nah, that's all good.
Your creative process when collaborating with other players.
Honestly, with TTRPGs, it's a team game, and I would like to just like to think about everyone's perspective, and then if I were to chime in, I would try to think of a way that everyone can cooperate together on, or the best thing for everyone. So it's really, I just like I like the discussion and planning together, and
Right, because we've also done some collaborative writing as far as certain settings, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and it gets the creative juices flowing when you have someone to bounce ideas off of. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and especially when you know your role in that part, because like you said, when we collaborated, it was your world. I was just I was just like the. You were like 2/3 of the world. I was just that 1/3 helping you out.
Yeah. Though I still think that the creation of the Techno Dragon was amazing. So.
Oh yes, that. Ah yes.
Eventually, we'll have to go back to that thing at some point.
Oh yes, absolutely. I am excited to throw that Techno Dragon artwork I got out there.
For those who may be listening, this has already been introduced in the game, but it is a black dragon in a dystopian reality that has modified themselves to such an extent with technology after hiding away when the world was basically under a nuclear assault, killing the rest of his
competitors.
Yes, that's the word. I couldn't think of the word. Ew. But yeah, we call him Dagger Maw, the All Father of Suffering. Anyway. Okay, so back to the interview for a moment. When you adapt elements of already established dark fantasy, what particular challenges do you face when translating some of it to tabletop RPGs?
Well, I suppose this is just a problem between flavor and mechanics. Because you might find like the Wyvern Slayer, the great sword that slays wyverns, and then you go like, well, how does it make it balanced for this game about this setting about slaying nothing but wyverns?
And then you never see a wyvern.
Yeah, in a world plagued by wyverns. It's strange coincidence.
None to be found.
At that point, that's just malicious.
Oh, I know.
But no, it's more like having inspiration or giving respect to something that you're putting in there. You have to give the proper respect and homage to it, but at the same time making sure that it's not going to disrupt everything in there. You know, maybe instead of for example, of wyverns, the Wyvern Slayer could be a Wyvern Slayer prototype that might work as a minor sword of Wyvern slaying or something. It's a respect, homage, while, making sure you don't ruin yourself in the process in the excitement of it all.
Right. So the last question on my list of questions for you is, in your opinion, how has your indulgence in tabletop RPGs changed your dark fantasy writing style?
Well, I won't lie. Tabletop RPGs as a whole kind of turned this little guy from making an Jack make a versatile, can do anything once type of player to a more specialized, focus on one thing type person.
Mm-hmm.
But
So it made your characters in your writing more believable.
in a sense, I never really written much character driven stuff before tabletop RPGs. It was mostly I won't lie. First story I ever finished was like sixth grade. It was like a gosh darn Goosebumps ripoff. The Little Shop of Horrors. That was a ripoff of that.
Well, Shop of Horrors is amazing.
Oh yeah, no, I think it was like a Little Shop of Myths or something that I wrote long ago in sixth grade.
Oh man.
But then again, what prolific author hasn't just go be like, here, my own original take of this, even though it's like almost a 1-2 direct copy instead of 1-1.
Oh yes, the woes of middle school. Yes.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah, no, I think partly because maturing tabletop RPG has kind of led me to thinking about more about characters and world building rather than just a story about these people doing these things.
Yes, I agree with that. The last thing I have on the agenda for today is I hear you're a independent game developer.
Ah, yes, I am. I am learning and bang my head on that every wall I hit, but the walls are cracking.
Good. I'm glad for you. I hope you demolish those walls.
Me too. It's just learning how to do a lot of part of game development from scratch, and it's helping me just really appreciate the people that make games more and more, though.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a lot of hard work in that. My only gripe is I wish things were a slight bit more accessible for people with visual or auditory impairments. And motor impairments. Well, I don't want to leave them out either.
Yeah, I believe that's another set of challenges that is worth undertaking. Probably not for my skill level yet, but maybe one day, if I actually do make a good game, I'll try my best to incorporate accessibility options into that. But that is certainly a worthwhile undertaking, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Do you have any games currently that you, at least in the sense that they are playable, that you would like to plug here, or?
Well, just the Game Jam games I have done before, which is on my itch.io page under, the same name you're interviewing me as.
Mm-hmm.
It's just those three games. I mean, one of those, like Dear Mageddon, has been updated once since the Game Jam, and trying to work on a more better version of that because I won't lie, I just like that whole thing. It makes me laugh.
Yes, it is quite humorous. I'm very happy that my suggestion for the name of that game actually made it through.
Dear Mageddon, it can't go wrong with that.
Could you tell the people watching a little bit about Dear Mageddon?
Oh, as you'll find on my itch.io page right now, it's just a game about you being a deer man with a gun, shooting redneck hunters with a gun that has guns, and It's simple, very simple. But hey, I like to think that the jokes that me and my friends came up with land pretty well.
Absolutely. I'm very glad to have been part of that creative process.
Ah, beautiful name too. It's that just made me have a stroke of genius.
Right.
Mhm.
Now, is there anything as far as the stream here that you want to um, critique or give some constructive criticism?
Ooh.
Hey.
Yes, the wife texted me. Okay. Uh, oh God, I hard to think stuff on the spot. Marine malfunction.
It's okay.
Yeah, coming up with questions on the spot is one of the biggest troubles I have.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. You did wonderful, and I hope to have you on again uh, at some point.
Absolutely, I would be. I would love to come on again, and I certainly hope I at least released more stuff since then. That'll at least give me something to talk about.
Right. So we're gonna end the stream, and we'll try to have you on again at a later date uh, with some of the projects I have going, and let's say bye. So, bye, anyone who's watching. Thank you for watching. Please, if you like this video and find value in it, subscribe. I need it. We're gonna end the stream.
All right, and